Yes, ma'am, they're there.
Yes, we're here.
Yes, we're here.
Good. Welcome, Nadir and Namrata. Thank you
Thank
so much.
Good
you.
afternoon to you too.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Principal ma'am, with your permission, I would like to start.
Please start.
Good afternoon, all. I, Professor Surya Gune, on behalf of the Department of Mass Media, KC College, welcome you all to our Alumni Connect series, Mediascape 2020. This series is an attempt to help our students understand the world of media and give them some insights of what all goes behind the scenes of all the glamour that we see around us. And who better than our alumni to share these insights who have actually been there and done that. With this series, we are trying to bring our alumni from various fields on one platform for our students so that they can understand the nuances of the industry. We hope that these sessions will help our students prepare themselves for the industry while pursuing their formal education. We have our principal ma'am, Dr. Hemlata Bagla, with us today. She has been the constant support behind all our activities that we plan to bring the best of our students. This series would not have been possible without ma'am's constant encouragement and support to continuously do better. I would request our dear principal ma'am to say a few words as inaugural speech for this webinar series. Thank you.
Greetings to one and all present here today. Instead of welcoming each one of you in physical space, we are making use of this crisis as an opportunity to meet you all in digital space. And I'm happy to see that we have with us our two renowned alumni, Mr. Nadir Kanthawala, and our first batch student, Ms. Namrata Keswani. Both are very energetic and zealous, so I extend a warm welcome to both our dear alumni of KC College. And let me tell them, and this warm welcome comes to you now. You are part of KC College, which was part of University of Mumbai. And let me share that this Phoenix has opened its wings and has traveled far and wide. And now KC College is part of new university, which is called Adjacency University, Mumbai. I know if you would be in auditorium, you all will applaud, but I can take in this digital space that you're applauding, and you're very happy to see that your college has taken this big leap, that leapfrogged in a new direction, and will continue to go in that forward direction when we have navigators like our alumni, who are always with us to take the next generation to the next level. I'm so proud of both of you, Nadir and Namrata, that I feel so proud that when I mentioned this to Manjula Madam, head of the Department of Mass Media and Communication, that I want alumni series, let our children, let them be from any college, whether KC, HR, Jai Hind, MMK or National, they are our future generation. They are Generation Z. They are fast learners. They only need direction. So what should we do? So every department was asked to have alumni series. So she came up, Manjula Madam came up with a wonderful name, Mediascape2020. I congratulate Department of Mass Media, the entire team headed by Manjula, Srinivas, Nikita, Sudha Ravi Shankar, if I'm missing Surya, everyone for giving shape to this idea, because it's very easy to have idea and thought process, but somebody is needed to put into action. So we have a great team at KC College, all leaders. We don't believe in singular leadership. We don't believe in that one person leads. I don't even know who am I when I'm with them. It's the collective leadership, participative leadership, that we are every element being important, every ingredient being important. We are having one mission, that how this institution can help all the students of Mumbai and across India, across the globe, to go in forward direction. Because I believe strongly that each institution wants to achieve excellence. Name can be anything. Each institutions want to prove that we are the best. And why not? If you are getting the best, you should go there. But only my best wishes is that you should choose the right career. You should not repent that why did you choose media? You should know what is in store for you, what you will have to go through. Yes, you can imagine though, because you are part of that generation, you are part of that era, that you know that we cannot imagine a world without media. If you are getting to know about coronavirus, imagine what you would know without media and without technology. So you have to amalgamate, you have to couple both these. And if you're good in information technology, if you're good in, and if you understand media, I think you're the best suited for this world. And more than me, I think you have the list of alumni, the group of wonderful alumni of KC who are going to bring to you these 3 days. Yeah, request the tech committee to please put on mute. Thank you so much. This can happen only in such platforms. We can mute all. The wonderful thing technology brings. It's so difficult in the classroom. Imagine, so that's what I was telling you. Please, you have to embrace technology and club it with media. And let me tell you, you will reach greater heights. Today, when I'm with media students, I feel wish I should have taken media. I would be best suited in this group. When I'm with IT students, I feel I wish I should have taken IT. I would have known Python, I would have learned statistics. I would be where? I would be in one of the data scientists. So the world is never ending. You feel like now after being chemist, I want to be data scientist. I want to be media specialist. But never mind, this particular college, this particular forum, and these wonderful media professionals in the department, they keep me engaged with media students. And of course, the future, which is in the hands of all of you, please kids, do not, I can call you kids, right? So you do not ever even get worried about what is in store for you. You can just call up Department of Mass Media. You can be from any college and you'll be guided through. All right, whether it is whichever field. So this particular week will bring to you mass media, will bring to you humanities, will bring to you social sciences. May I request tech committee to mute all. Thank you. Somebody wants to join me in clapping probably, so we're continuously clapping going on. I'm so very happy. Do all that mischief, no problem. We are so used to this platform now. And so I was telling you anyway, the idea is you all know more than me that where this whole process will land you through. See that if you're attending today, you must listen to all the filmmakers, all the artists, everyone who have excelled in this field. So this is one step which will take in forward direction. If you may not help you, you may help whatever you learn today and pass it on to your friends, your siblings, and tell them what is in store for you in this media world, which is a beautiful, glamorous world, but will need your skills into it. Remember one thing, whatever you go, wherever you go, whatever you do, see that you instill one skill in you and move forward. Let me tell you, every day I teach myself, every day I ask myself how I have improved one way in 1% every day. Imagine what will happen if in a year, 365 days, and 1% you increase, 1% you improve, you will improve 37 times. Simple mathematics, 1.01 into 365. The answer is not 365, it is 37 times. So you improve 37 times. So you can take calculator, please put it on 1.01, rest to 365. So 37 times you'll improve. Trust me, I try that I learn something new every day. One word, one new word. Can I learn a different language? So try, age is no bar. You can pull in your grandparents, your siblings, they can be in schools. You can teach them media. But remember this is the world. Do not get dejected that there are no jobs. Let me tell you, as being from media, your friends will tell you, the alumni will tell you, but what is in store for you quickly, my students of media who are part of KC, there are announcers, there are film and video editors, there are camera operators, there are interpreters, translators, photographers, fundraising specialists, public relations specialists, there are reporters, there are correspondents, broadcast news analysts, technical writers, and even radio jockeys, radio operators. So so much is waiting for you. You only need to know to become something, what skill you need to align with. And there you are in the world. So all the best to each one of you. I know that you're going to enjoy this session the coming 3 days. I may not be with you every day because my college has kept me occupied, and they have wanted me to be every platform, sometime NSS, sometime life sciences. So let me tell you that you are on the right platform. So keep learning, and there'll be many, many more programs I shall bring to you all, or we shall together bring to you all in coming days. There'll be VFX, there will be gaming, there'll be career counseling in AI, artificial intelligence on 15th or 18th, or maybe next week. It'll be announced to all of you. So thank you so much, Manjula Madam, for giving this opportunity to meet our students of Mumbai and share my views with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't get a chance to talk to them. So thank you so much, and congratulations for media to you and your team for bringing Mediascape 2020. What I know about you and your team is once you start anything, there's no looking back. Then for generations, the things go ahead. Whether you have film documentaries or film festivals or international media summits, when Manjula Madam is heading and the helm of the affairs of media department and her team together, I think whatever they do, they see only there's a multiplier effect, nothing less than that. So next year, I know what she will bring to me. This time, if there are 10 speakers, they'll bring 100 speakers. I know nothing. I know that you have multiplier effect. Keep that spirit in you, because you are a very strong pillar to KC College. And you know that I want to acknowledge in this platform that with you at the helm of the affairs and media department, you'll take it to the next level. Thank you so much for being part of this team. And thank you all, the entire team, KC. And yes, my dearest Namrata and Nadir, over to you. A warm welcome to both of you. It's a joy that I can see you today and hear from you. And lots of love to all our SYJC undergrad, postgrad students who are attending this. Wherever you are, whichever college you are, don't forget us. We are just phone call away. When it comes to counseling and taking you ahead, we always will be there. You can walk in principal's cabin without an appointment. Promise you. All the best. Take care and have a wonderful
Thank you,
evening.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Principal Ma'am.
God bless.
Motivation and encouragement is always a guiding light for us. And as you rightly said, under Manjula Ma'am's strong support and leadership, we are ready under the new university to reach newer heights. I would like to now formally start our first session, which is about challenges and opportunities in new media with respect to advertising.
Before that, Surya, I missed out to share the good news with all of you and all the kids out here. Today, Chancellor of this university, Chancellor of HSNC University, our Honorable Governor Saab, called up our Provost, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, and said that he wants to inaugurate this university on 11th of June at 11 a.m. So it will be digital inauguration. I shall connect to YouTube so that all our students can witness this wonderful moment and such a feeling that in this crisis, in this lockdown, what not we can do and what not we can achieve. And on 12th of June, Miss Shivani, if you know from Shivani is from Mount Abu. You know this? What is the particular group called? Shivani is the greatest.
Brahmakumaris.
Yes, Brahmakumaris. So she is a motivational speaker and a fabulous speaker. I don't want any one of you to miss it out. So you're not there with us on 6th, 7th, 8th. I would love that you all be there with us. The link can be sent to you all too for 11th and 12th also. So much more is in store for all of you. So congratulations, KC College, HR College, and Bombay Teachers Training College for the new university and its launch scheduled on 11th June, 11 a.m. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Surya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure everybody is geared up for the new university launch. I would now like to give a brief introduction of our first speaker for the day, Mr. Nadir Kanthawala. Nadir Kanthawala has over a decade's worth of experience in the media industry with a specialization in fiction, non-fiction, infotainment production, and content development. He currently works as Regional Head New Business at Watt Consult. Having previously produced content for BBC Worldwide, Star India, Colors and Cartoon Network, he has worked on shows such as India's Got Talent, Mystery Hunters India, and Sumit Sambhalega. He is also the writer, producer, and co-host of a parenting podcast, Pops in a Pod. And I must tell this also, that he's a student's favorite visiting faculty member in the Department of Mass Media, KC College. Nadir, I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Department of Mass Media. And before handing the floor to you, I would just like to tell a few instructions about this session. I request every participant to keep their mics, audios on mute. Videos also should be put off. Please don't raise your hands when the session is going on. We will have two speakers speaking back to back, and then we will have a combined question and answer session. We request everyone to keep posting your questions in the chat box so that we can keep the track of those questions and take the questions later in the Q&A session. Thank you so much. I hope this will be a great learning opportunity for you. Over to you, Nadir. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Before
so much, Surya,
Nadir,
ma'am.
can Manjula say something? Manjula, you should say something to our students. How can we miss you out?
You have done the opening remarks. Those were very interesting. It's just that I'm a little nostalgic about the fact that I walked in as a 32-year-old mom of 2 children with great dreams to make it big in the field of education with KC College as my third college. And from there, I have been seeing Hema ma'am also work very, very hard. And in the last 3-4 years, we have seen the kind of changes you have brought into the institution. So it's a big congratulations to all of us. I would genuinely want Namrata to start the session because she's our first batch alumni. But if it's okay with Nadir, I would love Namrata to start the session because with Namrata and Nadir, I have grown as a teacher. We didn't have a lot of facilities. Sudha being a visiting faculty at that time, she also is witness to it, that we really learned how to bring the brand what it is today. And we would love our new batches to really benefit from the kind of skills that we have acquired in the last 20 years. This is my 20th year. This month will be my work anniversary also. Principal ma'am, I would have completed 19 years in this college. And this will be my beginning of the 20th year where we will work in the new university. So Surya, if there is no issue, I would wish Nadir to just be the second speaker and let us start with our first batch, Namrata, to start the session. Is it okay, ma'am? Can we just do the change?
Of course, yes. Nadir is still visiting us, right? So he's a family. Family will come last.
Okay.
So he's part.
I'll be more than happy. I'll be more than happy to hear Namrata first.
Nadir, I'm so sorry. I did not plan any of this. This is just
No, not at all. In fact, I was hoping to hear your session first because I've heard you before in those Google sessions I've been a part of. So I really, like the approach that you guys take. So I'm really hoping to hear you first. So no problem.
So Nadir, you agree
give it
with
up.
me? Nadir, you agree with me? You are part of the faculty, so you are with us. So let's
Always.
First batch student, and then
always.
Yes, thank you, Nadir. Thank you. So over to Namrata.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you. And firstly, congratulations to the entire team at KC College. This is clearly amazing. And a special call out to Manjula ma'am. Ma'am, nothing has changed. 18, 19 years ago, you used to call us, we were there. Now you call us, we are here. So literally nothing has changed. We are here and at your service. Welcome to all the students. It's very exciting. All the sessions that I'm attending, all the sessions that I'm addressing right now, I'm feeling like, people always set up this precedent of, in these times. And I think that, of course, the whole thing is, we are living in a surreal moment. But look how we're adapting. I mean, nothing is stopping. Your orientation is not stopping. Your logging in. Education is not stopping. Business for a lot of people is not stopping. It's the largest human race experiment in the world, that X number of millions of people are sitting at home and being productive. So it's just a call out to human race is quite adaptive. And I think human race and the psyche and the inside of human race is the basis for all advertising that you will create, right? Since I have overtaken Nadir in this session, let me have the pleasure of introducing myself. Okay, so I'm Namrata Keswani. I work with Google. I was the first batch at KCBMM. I majored in advertising. Manjula ma'am is one of my favorite people. And since I graduated, I went to the US and I did my post-graduation in advertising as well. I came back and the journey has been nothing short of incredible. I spent about close to 13 years in advertising at Ogilvy. I spent that time between Singapore and Bombay. And for the last close to a year, I've been at Google, and I drive what Google calls creative intelligence partnerships for India, which basically means that I work with creative agencies and I partner with them from Google's side. So it's been an incredible journey. And when I was given the subject of speaking today on opportunities and challenges in new media with respect to advertising, I was thinking whether I should bring a deck, and I was thinking whether I should, put down a PowerPoint presentation. And then I thought against it, because I think that it's actually quite simple. In my mind, the first thing that you need to recognize, whether it's in the business you're working, whether it's at the advertising side of things, whether it's anything else that you will choose to explore in your career, somebody's opportunity is someone's challenge and vice versa, right? So the two are very, very closely linked. Challenges should never, ever be seen in isolation, and opportunities should never be seen in isolation. So when you have a challenge, you also have an opportunity. So let me touch upon what I'm going to give you one of each, which are in my mind one of the most relevant things in the world of digital advertising today, right? The number one opportunity in the entire world. Now you know that everybody's going online. Obviously, the growth of digital and the growth of digital advertising was all on the high even before the pandemic hit us. But now, with so many people at home, with now so many people adapting, my parents are now on Swiggy and ordering food. I'm sure your parents are learning some new things as well. There is an adaptation that has happened in the consumer's mind. There is an adaptation that has happened in the customer journey of their digital life, right? One of the biggest opportunities, therefore, is how do you capitalize on this, right? There are so many new categories that have come in on the basis of this pandemic, on the basis of this surreal situation that has come in, right? So, for example, Swiggy Genie. I'm using Swiggy as an example because I think it's one of the best brands that has adapted to itself right now. Swiggy until 8 months ago was just a food delivery brand. Today, basis that, they have capitalized on the opportunity of the digital consumer, and they have Swiggy Genie, which means that I can appoint a person to pick up something, deliver to my home step, and to create a task, get something delivered, so on and so forth. So there's Swiggy Genie. The second thing they've done is Swiggy Grocery. They capitalize on the opportunity that the customer was online and they were not allowed to go outside. So why can't we get the vegetables to them? So very quickly on their app, there was a very smooth and seamless interface on Swiggy Grocery. The next thing that people started missing was meat. So Swiggy Butchery or Swiggy Meat Shop. Then they introduced Swiggy Pet Shop. So, and I'm sure they won't stop here, right? And I'm sure it'll continue because the situation is not changing anytime soon, right? So one of the opportunities that a brand in advertising right now needs to recognize is that in this evolving digital world, there is a huge opportunity to tap into the way the consumer is also evolving, right? The consumer is not consuming digital the same way that he or she was consuming 8 months ago. The consumer is now consuming digital in so many different ways. 8 months ago, while recipes and cooking ideas was a very popular category on YouTube, today it's one of the top 2 or 3 things that people are searching for, right? This is a consumer insight, and this is therefore an opportunity. Similarly, adapting, more people are spending time on the phone, more people are interacting with brands which are bringing utility to them. Therefore, this is consumer insight. So the larger point that I'm making is that recognize the customer's journey, recognize the customer's consumption, and basis that, customize the opportunity that you can solve for them, the opportunity that you can bring to them. So I didn't know that Swiggy Genie was a possibility. Swiggy made it possible for me, right? So keeping in touch with your customer's digital journey, keeping in touch with your customer's consumption is a very, very important thing. And then leveraging that can immediately bring you an opportunity, right? So this is one side. Let's flip this discussion on its head and say, okay, while I understand the customer is spending more time on digital, the consumer is spending more and more time on digital, there is a feel in non-digital, there is a feel in offline that doesn't happen online. So for example, luxury shopping. Not many of us do luxury shopping online. Why? Because we want to keep the experience, which is also very, very important. And luxury brands, because you're going to spend a lot of money, you want the experience as well, right? So the challenge over here is that in this entire ever-evolving pattern where the consumer is spending more and more time on digital, how do you keep the experience alive for the consumer? How do you get the brand to still mean something, have a texture or have a fabric which keeps it alive for the consumer, and your brand love is still somewhere in the mind of the consumer? That is a huge challenge. As more and more brands are going to go digital, more and more brands will face in my opinion, will face the challenge of still being experiential, still having to hold on to the consumer's experience, a consumer's impression through an experience. And there are many brands right now in the face of this pandemic who have already adapted. Let me give you an example of a brand called Maria Tash. Now, I'm sure many of you may or may not have heard of this brand. It's a very small brand. It's a very niche brand. It is a brand of ear jewelry. They do piercings, they pierce people's ears, and they have a whole range of ear jewelry, right? Now, this is a very offline experience. If I have to get my ear pierced, I have to walk in, make an appointment, walk in, do a consultation, understand what piece will look good on my ear, and then the physical process of piercing will happen. And the entire customer journey is completely only offline, right? The only thing that they could do is advertise online, right? Now, obviously, as this world was changing around us, they faced the huge challenge of how do I maintain an experience for my consumer while I am completely irrelevant right now. So here's what Maria Tash did. Maria Tash said on Instagram, on Facebook, on email to its customer base, that, hey, you know what? We know that you're not going to get your ears pierced right now. We also know that piercing your ears and the decision of which jewelry you want is a very long process. So here's what we can offer you. Let's do a Zoom call between a customer and a consultant who they would have a consultation with in the shop. The consultation expert would basically get on a Zoom call or a Hangout call with you and would virtually show you how that piercing would look on your ear. It's a 15-minute consultation. You can ask all your questions. It's from a different part of the world. The phone call ends, and then after that, in your email, you get a picture of how this piece of jewelry was going to look like in your year. Then you get a follow-up email with a discount coupon of when the stores open and when you do decide to get your piercing done, because you participated in our consultation, here's a 10% off on the entire program for you, right? Now, this was a huge challenge for a brand like Maria Tash, which had only relevance for offline space, but the consumer was going online. They had no role online, but they turned that challenge into an opportunity and brought an experience back to the consumer. I went through this whole journey. I have a discount coupon in my email, and I feel like my entire decision-making process, my entire research process has ended. And when the lockdown opens, I am going to just go in and cash my discount coupon and get the piercing done. So to recap, there are two things: the challenge and the opportunity. The opportunity is that the consumers' consumption habits are changing drastically. You have to keep an eye on that. And you need to identify what is the most relevant, therefore, and make your brand presence felt there in advertising. And the challenge is that if you suddenly become irrelevant in a pandemic sort of situation, you need to still take that challenge head on and address it and become relevant, or at least maintain the experience of your brand if you were an offline brand, right? Does that make sense? Is this clear? And these are literally just two starting thoughts. I think that they are very relevant to the kind of environment that we are in right now. These are just two small examples. They're not large decks, but I feel like they are pretty much all encompassing, keeping the consumer's journey, keeping the consumer's consumption in mind, and therefore making your brand relevant is a huge opportunity. And also understanding that if you were an offline brand, or if you're currently an irrelevant brand, there's still something that you can do to remain on top of the consumer's mind, right? So as you guys venture and select your major, and if you're interested in advertising, keep these two things in mind. This is as a starting point for almost all the work that you will do: recognizing the challenge, understanding the consumer, and making your brand relevant to the consumer's mindset versus the other way around. I hope this helps you. And that's pretty much it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namrata. That was a wonderful session, very, very insightful. And you helped students, look at the things that we see on everyday basis beyond what we actually see. I'm sure this must have helped the students. I was supposed to introduce you, Namrata, but since you did that yourself, I'm sure your rich experience and your insights are going to be really, really helpful for our students.
I'm really sorry to interrupt your introduction, but I just didn't want to start speaking without them knowing who I was. And then wo pura change ho gaya. That's why I took the liberty. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
No, absolutely. All right. Anytime welcome. Yeah. Now handing the floor on to Nadir. Nadir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Surya. If I can just get an understanding of how much time do I have, then accordingly I'll pace myself.
Around 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will open the floor for question and answer.
No, perfect. I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to actually share my screen. So I've just quickly arranged a short deck.
Yeah.
So before I start, I just want to check if everyone can see the deck, and then I'll start. Y'all can just tell me in the chat, or
yeah, we can see it clearly.
Okay, great. So thank you, Namrata. That was really a fun, quick chat, and I think you've said some very relevant things. In fact, I'm glad that you went first, because now it will seem as if I'm going to deliver the part 2 of it, because I definitely would like to add on to what you've said. So I'm really glad that you went first. So
Thank you,
anyway,
Nadir. I'm all ears.
Okay, so I have delivered something similar in the past as well. In fact, 2 years in a row. I think this would be the third year. The sessions come in different names and different avatars. But I figured that this year I want to do something different in terms of what I want to share. And I think we're all kind of facing this situation, and we all are very much aware as to what's going on. So what I've done is I have kind of broken my deck into 2 parts, which is the business aspect and the human aspect, which Namrata has kind of really well integrated it in her session. So I'll just kind of break it up and give you perspective as to exactly what's happening right now. Just to give you a little bit of background, I have spent over 10 years in television content. So I've done production, I've done direction, writing, I've worked in a television channel, and I've worked in a production house. And I realized that I'm missing out on something. And that's when I decided to take the plunge towards digital. And not just digital, I actually completely shifted my entire career trajectory from content production to marketing. So I lead new business at What Consult, which is a digital agency, and it's my responsibility to bring in new clients. So in terms of opportunities and challenges, I can give you my own personal experience as to what we are going through, and I'll just take you through step by step as to what's really happening around us and what is it that you need to spot, right? So coming on the back of what Namrata said, data is extremely, extremely important, right? Let's just have a look at this slide and see where India really is in terms of the whole coronavirus, this world that we are living in right now, correct? We are very much in tune with what the world is going through right now. The world is in serious danger. Yes, of course, everyone agrees that we are. The worst of coronavirus is not over. Most definitely, it's not over. In fact, it's peaking. Some of them are saying that we are already, on the edge of the third wave. So we need to be extra careful. Will there be an economic recession? Yes, everyone believes there's going to be an economic recession. See, these are data points. These are facts, right? This is not something to scare you guys. This is something that is happening all around us. And the more cognizant we are of the fact, the more we recognize this faster, the better we recognize this, the better it is for us to make certain decisions when it comes to seeking opportunities and then facing those challenges. So the idea over here is to show you that the world is changing and all of us are changing as people, as professionals, and even in our personal life. So this is just to give you an understanding where we stand. So India is not a country that is experiencing COVID in a separate way. It's experiencing the same things that the other world is also going through. So where am I getting at, right? To give you an understanding, look at both the charts, okay? Ever since we were hit by the lockdown, the world was kind of divided into 2 parts when it comes to consumption, right? Let's remember that at the end, we are all consumers, even though we are professionals from advertising, from content, television, OTT, whatever it is. By the end of it, we are all consumers. So if we have to look at ourselves as consumers, what is it that we are doing and what have we become? So on your left-hand side, the table, which is predominantly green in color, you'll realize that things are going up, right? You are spending more money on fresh food and other, food products. You are spending money on digital items. Now, please pay very clear attention when I say digital, because that is what I'm going to kind of, stay put. That's why I said that this is going to be part 2 of what Namrata was talking of. whether it's your mobile, data, Wi-Fi, OTT subscriptions, whatever it is, right? That's consistently been there because you're cooped up in your house, you're locked up, and you have to find ways to engage yourself, to engage your family members, people who have kids like myself, have to engage with us. So what do I do, right? And then you've got finance, and then you've got obviously health is extremely important. This is where people are spending their money, right? So look at it as an opportunity. But on the flip side, you have businesses that are bleeding, right? The table on the right, which is dominated by the red slash pink color. So your vacation, your travel, anything that gathers public, big crowds, whether it's a restaurant or concerts or sporting events or even a cinema hall, everything is going down in terms of consumption. That business for the next few months is going to, well, look at a massive stalemate. By that, I mean it's going to come to a complete grinding halt from what we can see, because this this pattern of consumption is it's almost satisfying your own need, right? I need makeup, I need perfume because I need to look good, I need to smell good. But because I'm sitting at home, maybe, just maybe, I don't need it right now. Yes, sometimes I can do it, because I feel like doing it. So that's a different thing. But by and large, I don't think my money needs to go over there. So the world is divided into two parts. Now, once we understand how to read this data, because when you start off with any job, when you enter the industry, the content industry, it comes on the back of research, and research comes from data, and data comes from, well, a whole lot of survey which this particular company has done. And once you realize that, oh, so this is what's happening, that's where you will figure out what are the opportunities and what are the challenges that you might face, and that is what is going to help you create strategies, create content, understand what you need to do for yourself and the company that you represent. Again, just a very simple understanding as to where the money is being spent now post-COVID, right? Digital is the way ahead. I was telling you before that digital is something that you must keep your eyes and ears open to, because that, well, is the future, right? And you guys are born into this world, and you all will probably not understand the significance of a CD. You will not understand the significance of a magnetic tape because you all were not exposed to it. But that's fine. It's all history right now. But someone like Namrata, me, Manjula ma'am, and the rest of that generation sort of grew up, and then they saw the significance of change, right? This is that change. We are seeing that change. You guys are living the change already, right? So digital becomes extremely important, right from spending money to consuming entertainment, in terms of payment, whatever it is, everything has gone digital. And that is why the most important aspect of digital right now is e-commerce, right? If you see this chart, the date goes all the way to the first week of March, where things started getting pretty, strong in terms of the whole COVID scene. But the more and more people who started getting locked up, the more activity on e-commerce started, right? People started going on more e-commerce sites. And I don't mean just Amazon and your other marketplaces like Flipkart and so on and so forth, but a lot of other entities who were giving e-commerce as a service and ultimately providing you that service, whether the end product was a physical product or whether it was a digital product. You can see the rise up until the end of April, that it just keeps rising again and again. So e-commerce has now suddenly become this massive opportunity for everyone. Namrata very well gave this lovely example of Swiggy Genie and Swiggy Butchery and Swiggy, what are the other verticals that they keep starting, because they also realize that these are challenging times, but they have somehow managed to find an opportunity for themselves to ensure that they stay relevant, and also for you, who is the end consumer, who wants that piece of cake, or who wants that fresh grocery, or who wants some exotic vegetables, or whatever it is, they're there to provide you with it. So e-commerce is now not second option when it comes to business, but it's in fact the first go-to option for a lot of startups, for a lot of new businesses. And in fact, even your old traditional family-owned businesses are getting into e-commerce. So I'll give you an example. Very recently, there was this organic chemical company who came to us, who were doing business through basic means, your typical shops, brick and mortar, wholesale and retail. Like physically, they were selling the products, and suddenly, because of COVID, they come to us and they say, can we do e-commerce? We sell these chemical products that can be used by people at home as well as in factories. And we were like, yeah, sure, why not? And this is the first time that we've seen something like this. Why? Because there is someone out there who recognizes the importance of a digital journey and how it impacts the business, and how you need to now start moving away from your old traditional methods of doing business and start moving into the new wave of this digital takeover that's going to happen. Digital was always there. It's just become more and more relevant. Unfortunately, thanks to this worldwide disease that we are all kind of experiencing right now. The next, what we've realized, at least from an advertising standpoint, is collaboration and connections. So you will learn later on when you study and when you graduate and when you move out and start working for yourself, you'll realize that you'll come across these networks. So Dentsu Aegis is an advertising network, which means under the network, there are many agencies who specialize in many such digital advertising businesses. So you've got digital experiences, you've got your performance, you've got various other things, technology, creative, so on and so forth. Because the situation that we are in right now, the best opportunity is to sort of talk to each other. Different agencies within the same network need to talk to each other. You have other bigger networks like your Publicis, IPGs, and your WPPs of the world, right? All of them have to now look inwards and talk to agencies and see which clients need certain specialized services, so that they can share their clients and say, hey, you know what, I've got XYZ client and he or she is into this business. Can you provide a certain service? Now, not that this wasn't happening before, but the relevance of it has gone up much more. And they've realized the importance of tapping into their own networks to talk to each other, to realize where is that next business going to come from. And that's why collaboration becomes the buzzword. Collaboration and connections become the keyword, where you need to make sure that you tap into your own networks and try and win business, try and get business, so that there is enough work for you to do in these challenging times, and prove your worth as to why you as a professional in the advertising world can offer a certain service that perhaps your competitor can't, right? So collaboration then becomes important. Now, we've looked at the business aspect, and just to quickly summarize before I move on to the human aspect of things, is digital is going nowhere. It's in fact only going to boom. It's only going to grow. In fact, digital advertising year on year is going to grow. It keeps growing at 30%. After COVID, I think it's going to probably grow manifold. We don't know that number yet, but it's definitely going to be 30% more. So e-commerce is definitely going in. Your collaborations and connections will definitely go. You need to seek those opportunities and see which business to go after, which business is going to sustain for 6 months at least, and perhaps beyond. So maybe not the best time to go after a travel client, maybe not the best time to go after a luxury client, because as humans who are under lockdown, the first thing you'll probably do is not get out and buy that plane ticket, because you're going to be scared, right? You don't want to travel where there's a massive group of people traveling for the sheer fear of contracting a certain disease. So therein lies your opportunity that, okay, these are the businesses that I want to move away from. Let me go after a certain business and work in that certain business that has longevity. That's where digital comes in. So your online gaming, your e-commerce, of course, and anything that can sustain itself on the digital journey, that becomes extremely important. And it's just been highlighted even more thanks to the situation that we are in. Now, moving on to the human aspect of things, we've understood, we've got a basic understanding of where the business might be headed to, but what is it that we are feeling as human beings, both as professionals and perhaps in our personal lives as consumers as well? So this is to give you an understanding that how is it that people are thinking in terms of their income, right? I'm not sure to what extent are you guys exposed to, but a lot of people are facing some form of job cuts. A lot of people are facing some form of salary cuts right now. Again, don't look at it as, oh my God, this is the end of the world. No, it's not. It's just a little bump in the road right now. But look at certain opportunities. Again, people are not expecting perhaps a lot of income to come in, at least for the next 6 months. So you need to counter and you need to think where is it that they'll probably spend their money. So food is definitely important. You will not stop buying food. You will not stop buying medicines. You will not stop entertaining yourself in the digital medium when it comes to OTT. So you know that, okay, that is an opportunity that there is for everyone, especially people in the advertising world, to go after. But how do you make those decisions? By reading data, by getting an insight into these data points so that you can come out and say, okay, this is the strategy that I need to follow before I make any kind of advertising campaign or any content that I want to create or whatever it is that the field that you kind of want to get into. Similarly, we know where the future spends are. This is just, again, people are trying to say that I probably will not be spending that kind of money because I want to see for the next 6 months how things are. And perhaps then I'll realize, or then I'll figure out where and how I need to kind of spend my money in. Right? Okay. This slide is basically a representation of when you ever meet a client face to face. It's very important to tell your client that it's important that you be honest with your consumers at this point in time. See, that's a very human aspect. You have to convince your brands to be honest with your consumer, because it's very easy to just jump in to whatever trend that happens, right? This generation loves trends. Like any trend that happens, they all want to try. And then brands also kind of jump into that whole space of trend hai to karte hai, right? But you need to seek certain opportunities and tell them that, okay, you don't necessarily need to jump and ride the wave of any trend that comes across. Be honest with your consumers. You are a certain brand. Go out there and say what you have to provide. Maybe today, out of all the other days that we've probably been living and trying to survive, honesty is perhaps the most important virtue that you might want to jump into. And this is my opinion. This is no research or anything. This is something that I have seen from experience. If you can be honest right now, if your brand can be honest right now and tell the truth, or at least a certain semblance of the truth to your audiences, that will be great. And again, just to kind of give you an overview as to what is the next normal. We all know people will not travel. They will not go in, they'll stay away from places where there's massive crowd. So this is just to give you an understanding as to people are still very uncomfortable getting into those kind of spaces. Again, recognize what is the space that you want to kind of get into, and what is it that you need to build on, and which is a sector that you feel will be very comfortable for you to get and start working in. And lastly, when you are working from home, right, this is something that I want to pick up from what Namrata said about adaptability and change. Look at where we are right now. For the last 2 years, I've been coming to KC and delivering this session, but today we all find ourselves sitting in front of a small screen. I could very well be sitting in my shorts and my home t-shirt, right? But I'm still delivering something I'd like to believe which is important to 300 plus people. So you have to adapt and change. You have to be very clear in your mind that you can't be rigid when it comes to doing any sort of work. When you learn something, make sure you go out there and apply. But if you have to unlearn it because of the situation it demands, do it, because that is how you'll adapt to the situation. That is how you're going to adapt to change, because that is the most important. And lastly, please make sure that in today's day and age, it is not always best to be a specialist in something. If you have the opportunity, if you have the chance to take up more and more skills, do it. Be a multi-skilled person in this day and age, because it is not only going to help you, it is also going to help perhaps your boss or your client or whoever it is that you're servicing to recognize that, okay, this is a person who has multi-skills and can be useful in the future, not just for task A, but perhaps even for task B. So if I had to summarize this session, there are certain keywords that I want to leave you with. One is be adaptable, embrace change, because God knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Be extremely innovative, because innovation and imagination will take you somewhere. And last, be multi-skilled, hone your skills, learn new skills, and keep acquiring as much knowledge as possible so that you can input it back into the system when you are working or whenever you start working. And that's it for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nadir. It was really a very, very rich session with all possible insights, and probably what we are talking about nowadays, about the new normal after post-pandemic situation and how to prepare ourselves for that. I think whatever insights gave the students, they must have definitely learned so much from that. Before we start with our question and answer session, I would want students to start posting their questions in the chat box. I would request Principal Ma'am to please make an announcement here before we start question and answer. Then we will take questions.
Thank you, Surya. And thank you, Nadir and Namrata, for fantastic deliberation and giving you experiences in the media world. My dear students, dear friends and teachers who are the participants of this Mediascape 2020, please join me in welcoming Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. You must have seen him on many channels, but let me share with you, you may know him, but those who don't know him, let me tell you that Dr. Hiranandani is president of ASSOCHAM, NADECO, trustee of HSNC board institutions. There are 22 institutions in this board, and sir is trustee. And let me tell you, I spoke to you about the new university, HSNC University. Sir is the first provost of HSNC University. So may I request Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, Honorable Provost of HSNC University, to address our SYJC students across Mumbai institutions and across Maharashtra. And even there are many undergrad students and even their parents also. So over to Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. A warm welcome to you, sir. And first of all, let me thank you for joining us at such a short notice. In one message I sent you that, would you join Mediascape 2020? I know that you understand media more than all of us. So how could we miss you in this particular program? So thank you so much for joining us here. So over to Dr. Hiranandani.
Unmute, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Principal Bagla. Thank you very much for this kind invitation and also this expression of affection from you. Thank you very much, Janvi. And I must congratulate the entire team for putting up this Mediascape for all of you. And it's such a pleasure to join with the young ones over here this afternoon. I couldn't resist the temptation when I was told that such wonderful, bright students would be there. So I said I would give a few minutes to talk to you people, and it was really a lot of fun. So I'm thankful also to Manjula Srinivas, because I know she's there on the playing, and I know she does a lot of leadership roles in this segment of media training and teaching. So I think I'm happy to say hello to her. I didn't hear Namrata Keswani's lecture, but I did get a last part of what Nadir Kathawala told you. And I think there's so much to learn from what he's concluded with as far as the teaching and learning goes. And I wanted to share with you some bright good news that you must be aware that the government of Maharashtra has given us an opportunity to actually create a new university in the HSNC board, and which means that KC, HR, and BTTC, 3 colleges will be a part of what Nadir mentioned as embracing change. So the HSNC University is being created actually to embrace change, create innovation, and provide new skill sets for each and every student who will come into the new university. And what does it mean different than what was the existing university, which is the Mumbai University? I've been with the Mumbai University. Our board has been with the Mumbai University for last 60 years. So it's not that Mumbai University doesn't have all the ideas of academic excellence. It's a wonderful university and we're very, very happy with it. But as Nadir just mentioned, how do we innovate wherein we can make this change immediately, urgently, and today? And that is what HSNC University is now seeking to embrace, which is to innovate, to make change, and to give you new skills. So, as you would know, if tomorrow Manjula Srinivasan decides that she wants to add a new subject or a new syllabi, or to make a different aspect, as Nadir correctly told you just now, about the digital world and the changes in the digital world that are taking place appropriately to make this change, she will be able to represent to the university and within a month or so embrace changes in the syllabus. Which means what? Which means that the university and hence KC College, HR College, will all be updated with the latest A in technology, B in embracing all the changes that are taking place in the lectures that Nadir just mentioned, and I believe Namrata also mentioned a little while ago, and to see and incorporate all this in the education world, which is to your benefit. Which means what? It means that when you complete your education, you are going to be totally in sync with the real world and the outside world. And that is what we want to embrace with the university. So today, what are we planning to do? We are planning to create KC College to leapfrog into the new digital world, to leapfrog into see that multi-skilling will be there. And those parts which are not part of your syllabi, you will be given separate certificate courses and opportunity to do. And the third thing which you're going to have an opportunity is what we call in the international world, liberal education. So there are going to be certain subjects which will be compulsory, you have to take those, and certain subjects which will be optional, which means that a student who is doing media could also take a subject from the science side, or the commerce side, or the management side, subject to certain restrictions in the first year, obviously, because that may not be available immediately, but in a short period of time, we seek to get that available to you. So we are very, very excited in order to see that you come in to our colleges with the new opportunities, and we have the bright people who are there in the real world assisting us to take up these lectures, to also add on to the differences that are there in the real world, so that when you and I go back to the world of business, to the world of commerce, to the world of media, and to the real world, which is operational, you are going to be bright and smart, and people are going to welcome you because you already know a lot. But as Nadir correctly put it, it's not enough just to have knowledge about whatever you do. You got to know that over a period of time, you have to unlearn, you have to relearn and keep learning. So that's another thing which the university is planning to do, to have a continuous learning process in the next couple of years, so that after a couple of years, when you go out into the world of business or profession or working, you can come back to KC and also to be able to learn new things which you will have to enjoy to use in your real world. So thank you very much, Principal Bagla, for inviting me here today and sharing this joy, and also to participate with you. Welcome, and to the new university and to the new world post-COVID. Yes, COVID is horrible, but this period of lockdown has been a full opportunity to understand the digital world, and hence we have had the opportunity to meet today. Let's convert this disaster, which is there, into an opportunity to leapfrog into the new world of knowledge and learning. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful innings, and coming back to this safe world once again very soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, Surya.
Yes, thank you, sir. Your mantra of relearning and reinventing ourselves is definitely going to help us do better in whatever we are actually already doing in the institution. I would now like to invite our head of the department, Ms. Manjula Srinivas, to speak a few words. Ma'am, over to you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon once again, Principal Ma'am. This is a great surprise you gave us. We weren't prepared for this, but knowing sir for the last so many years, he's been so steady with the way he reaches out to the fresh students, the fresh graduates, the fresh 12th standard students. I would like to just bring it to your notice, sir, that this is a combination of students who are interested in our master's programs also. So you will find third-year students. There are students from our own department also, because they want to learn more from the alumni. And of course, the 12th standard students from different colleges of our board. We did a little bit of, networking, and we got them to be a part of it. So going forward, the next session, we are doing it on public relations. This was on advertising. I'm just telling everybody. Before we move to the next set of speakers for public relation, if there are any questions which you want to put it to the principal, to the respected provost of our university, the floor is open. We are a very democratic institution, and everybody would love to virtually answer whatever queries you have, including me, including everybody here. Please go ahead and post your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to begin our question and answer session. We have a few questions. Ma'am, with your permission, can we unmute the students and let them ask their own questions, or should I read?
Yeah, why not? Because they are limited, we can do that, I think. What do you say, Principal Ma'am?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Yeah. Okay. First question.
Ask them to raise hands and quickly take those questions where Niranjan sir will answer. About the university they are coming up.
Okay.
We have a few questions about the sessions. I'll just check the questions.
Focus on the subject only. Avoid the university issue. Focus on the subject, please.
The first question is from Tanvi. Tanvi is a KC College BMM student. Tanvi, I would like you to, I have unmuted you. I would like you to ask your question, please.
First of all, hello to all the faculty members. My question is to Namrata ma'am. In case of like the businesses like ear piercing business, as you said, to maintain a consumer experience. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Tanvi. Go ahead.
Okay. So there might be health concerns even after the crisis has been cured, or so how does new media help in building that trust among the consumers that we can go to this type of businesses even after the crisis is cured?
Thank you, Tanvi, for the question. It's a very interesting question. So I think the role of media in this time is very important, right? I'm going to make my point using an example, right? While the pandemic struck us, Make My Trip, which is a website for travel, created a piece of advertising about three or 4 weeks ago, right? Now, obviously, we all know that travel has been deeply impacted. People are not going to think about travel right away unless they absolutely happen to have to do that, right? So Make My Trip released the first piece of communication in which the role of the digital asset was to tap into the consumer's mind and say that, hey, you know what, we understand that you're concerned about travel. We understand that there will be safety issues. We understand that there will be sanitary issues. We understand that it will not be easy, etc., etc., etc. This is just us telling you that, hey, we're working on it. We will be back, right? So what did they do? they use their brand, they use their brand voice to drive assurance to the customer that what you are thinking, we already know, and let us take some time to come back to you with a solution. Then, 1.5 weeks ago, so that was about 3 weeks after they released the first piece of advertising, they released another piece of advertising. This time, they brought in the heads of all the airlines and all the hotels that actually have that actually sit on the portal of Make My Trip. So there was the Singapore Airlines, there was Vistara, there was Indigo, there was Taj Hotels. Everybody came into that piece of advertising and then said, hey, these are the 3 things that we have done to commit to safety and make sure you have a safe trip. So 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, they used the consumer sentiment to assure them that we're thinking what you're thinking and we will drive the best possible solutions and give us time to come back to you. 3 weeks later, they came back with tangible solution. And the role of advertising this time was to project what those solutions were, and that too in a very credible manner, because they had all those partner agencies sitting and talking about it, right? So the direct answer to your question is that the consumer is going to be apprehensive. It does not look like the pandemic or Corona at large is leaving or the situation is changing anytime immediately. All the brands have to take on the role of reassurance and a promise and commitment to the consumer to drive safety measures and to make sure that their interest is at heart for the brand. And that is the role for them to get any kind of traction or business. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question I would like Zen to ask. I think Zen's question was for Nadir. And a similar follow-up question is also asked by Janhavi. Zen, I have unmuted you. You can ask your question. Zen. Zen, please go ahead. I think there is some issue. I would like to.
You can take the next question, Surya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, doing it. I'm just unmuting the participants. Just a second.
Yeah.
Next question can be from Manal. Manal, can you please ask your question? Yes.
My question isn't directed towards like any of the two, like anybody can answer. But my question was more on the side when there is so much like, saturation in terms of like trying to be unique. Like how does one strive to be so different when the market itself is so saturated? Like everybody is hopping on the same trend, but there are only like 2-3 brands that stand out. And like we learned this in college itself, that no piece of content or art form can be original, completely original. It's always inspired. So like how do you strive to make that, how do you strive to make it different that your audience will engage with that sort of copy, or like let's say an advertisement, or in this case advertisement like a movie or like show, like what's like how do you strive to be unique and different in that terms?
Nadir, since you're in advertising, I will let you take that.
Thanks, Amrita. Okay, so there are 2 aspects to this answer. The first one is data. I think data plays an extremely important role, because through data, what you can do is you can mine a lot of insights, right? Now, this could be basis survey. Mostly it's basis a survey. But once you understand what is it that your consumer really wants, you can go back and you can do multiple things, right? You can go back to the production lineup and make certain changes. I'll give you an example. So there was a very prominent dishwasher company who did a survey and realized that the primary user of the dishwasher, in this case, it will mostly be women. They are the primary target. didn't like the way the soap, just kind of swirled all over the dishwasher, right? So they took this data point and they went to the production guys and they said that, listen, can we build something where the women feel satisfied with the fact that the soap hasn't gone all over. So they built a small little plastic pocket where you can put your soap and your dishwasher, close it, and then run the dishwasher. Right now, the interesting part is that that was just a gimmick. That was just to help the primary TG feel that, oh, finally they heard me and they've put this little pocket and where I can put my little soap and it won't go all over. But the point is, the minute you shut the door of the dishwasher, the little box where you put your dishwasher, your detergent in, it just pops open and the soap goes all over anyway, right? But that was the data point that they heard directly from the users, and then they used that to create a product. And basis that, they also created a commercial, a TVC, which said that, hey, this is this new dishwasher and we've created this new little package where you can put in your detergent soap in it so that it doesn't go anywhere. The truth of the matter is it still goes everywhere, right? But the data said that they were not happy, the TG wasn't happy with it, and they somehow used that information and they built inside the product itself. The second part is stop using references as your go-to aspect to make any kind of video. If you want to be original, write your own thing. Do not go to YouTube, start stacking all those videos that you want to copy certain things from here and there. Just drop that idea and make your own thing. I know it's going to be difficult to convince the client, but then that's where your creative inputs and your imagination comes in. Stop following references. This is something that I truly and deeply believe. I know 9 out of 10 clients will probably reject it, but that one client will probably believe in you and they'll say, okay, do something unique. I understand it's never been done before. Do it. Let's see how it plays out. So yeah, stop using references. I know nothing is original and something has to come from something, but in this case, close your eyes, write something beautiful and see if it can be executed. Namrata, all yours.
No, I think that's a very, very accurate answer. I'm going to let that one reign. Thank you, Nadev.
I would like to take next question from a student from junior college, Srishti Pai. I would want you to ask your question. Tech team, can you help me unmute Srishti, please? Srishti, yeah, I have done that. Yes, Srishti, please go ahead.
Actually, I just had a small doubt about the fact that what about the already established brands, like in the sense like automobile brands and all, which like you can just advertise stuff to a limit, right? Like what about going and examining it yourself? Like that can't happen digitally, right? So I just had that question.
So sorry, your question is about what is the role of digital, or?
Yeah. It's about like how can we like it digitally, or advertising stuff can only be done to a limit, right? Like if I want to go and check a brand by myself, like a automobile brand, for example, how will I do it digitally? I mean,
yeah. So, and Nadir, please feel free to jump in, but I'm going to give my opinion here. I think the marketing objective and the campaign objective differs from every brief and every campaign, right? So in the case of a very high involvement category like auto, where it's a very expensive purchase, where you're going to obviously go and test drive the vehicle, etc., etc. The role of digital is to not replace offline. That's not possible. I don't think that is the goal, and it would be foolish to say that. The role of digital in such a campaign would be to get people to inquire, would be to get people to book test drives. And maybe you can give that as the role of the digital campaign. So in every campaign, whether it's a mixed campaign of offline and online, or whether it's an online only campaign, the end measure does not have to be only about how many things got sold. Every medium has its own role. So in a very high involvement category, like auto, like you said, The role of digital might be about visits to the website. The role of digital may be about getting bookings for test drive. The role of digital might be about getting them to call the helpline number, or so on and so forth, or even drive awareness that such a brand has launched in the market. So you need to be very clear about what the role is, and it's not a blanket solution that digital cannot aid sales. If it was a lower involvement category, the role of digital could have been different, and the role of digital could be about completing the sale on the website, and which is why things like Amazon exist. Carrot Lane, which is a jewelry website, was one of the few brands in the country which launched with an online presence first and then went to offline. So the role of digital over there, the insight that they got was, hey, jewelry is very high involvement, but more than the money, women also would like to see how it looks on them. So can we mix the digital and the offline model and create what we call the phygital experience? So a mix of the physical and the digital. So on the website, you could go and you could book please bring these pieces to my house to try on. So there is a role for digital. You just have to figure out what that specific role for that campaign is, and not all campaigns have the role of driving sales, because on high involvement categories, that's tougher. So you need to break that down. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will take one last question now for this session. That will be from Devanshi. I am unmuting you, Devanshi. You can ask. Yes, Devanshi.
So I wanted to ask one thing, that is, as we have seen that a lot of things are changing around us and people are trying to adapt to the change and try to make content even in this pandemic. So my question was that if we talk about TVCs, we see a lot of TVCs now being made with actors sitting at home, and they are shooting it for themselves and they are making TVCs that way. But my question here is, this cannot go on for long, because somewhere we have to come on sets, and coming on sets means that there are going to be a lot of people involved, as we know that there are a lot of people around. So how is it going to change? Because after this there would be it would be very less that people are going to be involved in a very heavy public space. But still, how is it going to affect job opportunities of people who work on TV sets, or who work where there are a lot of people involved? So I wanted to ask that. So how is it?
Devanshi, hi, Nadir. See, it's a very interesting question, and I'm going to be very upfront with you that there is no single answer for this. Yes, it's going to be very difficult. Yes, it's going to be tough. But if you notice, a lot of content, especially from an advertising standpoint, let's keep television and films on the side. I'll come to that. From an advertising standpoint, a lot of people have become extremely innovative by still pursuing certain brand briefs, right? Either through influencers, or either the brand themselves are investing some monies and shooting from home, or whatever it is. The idea is, what is your objective, right? Is your objective being met? Forget the fact that it's not on a set. Forget the fact that it's not the best looking video. But what really counts at this point is the content. Is the content up to the mark? Is the objective met? I don't know if you noticed recently Karan Johar's partnership with Godrej Hair Dye. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you? Okay, great. If you haven't, go ahead and see it. It is just, I think, one of the best examples of influencer marketing. You've got the godfather of Bollywood to dye his white hair in a public domain, right? Where he's actually opening the packet, he's mixing the solution, he's putting it in his hair, then he goes, washes it, and voila, he's got black hair, right? I think that was perhaps the best thing that I have seen so far in the whole COVID situation, because the objective has been met. Godrej has managed to show its real case, live case situation using one of the biggest Bollywood producers to sort of say that, hey, it works, man. No matter where you are, it really works. So that is from an advertising front. You have to be innovative, you need to know your objective, and you need to just make sure that your content is good. It doesn't matter what's hanging at the back of my wall, if there are cracks or anything, don't get into all of that, right? That's just cosmetic thing, and we don't need it. Nobody cares about it at this point in time. When it comes to television and filmmaking, yes, that is where the biggest challenge is right now. But again, as I said, people will find a way to even try and make a television episode with the barest of bare um, unit, right? So if, for example, I need roughly 100 people to shoot on a set, maybe I'll find a way to probably do it in 20 people because that's my mandate. That is what the government has told me, that you cannot shoot with more than 20 people. The idea is with the writer, director, and producer. Is it possible? Can we do it? Should we try? If you don't try it, you will never know whether it's worked or not. So in my opinion, go ahead, take that 20-member crew and just go and try it and see if it works. Ultimately, it's original content. It is not a repeat. So what I would urge everyone to say at this point in time is go ahead, try it, do it yourself and see if it works. Put it out there, let the public consume it, and then see whether you get pots or pans or whether you get silver or gold.
Great. Thank you so much, Nadir, for that answer. With this, I would like to tell everybody that we have come to the end of our first session. I have posted the link to feedback form of this first session. I would like to request all the participants to please fill the form and send it across. I would now like to invite Professor Srinivas from the Department of Mass Media to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to present the vote of thanks on the occasion of the Alumni Web Lecture Series organized by the Department of Mass Media, HSNC University. We thank the principal for encouraging us to do something innovative. And we thank you, Nadir Kantawala and Namrata Keswani, for giving your time to this and providing us with wonderful insights in your respective fields to an enthusiastic audience. And hope to have many more sessions with you going forward. And Surya, I toss it back to you for introducing our next line of speakers for the day. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you and all the best to all the students.
Thank you so much, Nadir and Namrata, once again for your interesting sessions. We now move on quickly to the second session of the day, which is about challenges and opportunities in public relations. As you all know, public relations is a very, very demanding field, a field which has a lot of craze around it in the media. So for this session, we have two speakers with us, and we will be starting with another of our first batch student of post-graduation program, Ms. Sachipreet Bhatia. She is currently employed at Madison World as associate manager. She has been in the PR industry for 4 years, working on the brand side of the business of tourism, beauty, lifestyle, and fashion. Previously, Sachi has worked with Edelman India for over 3 years. She has worked on 6 seasons of Lakme Fashion Week, OnePlus Music Festival, Lakme Makeup, and on Dubai Tourism as well. With her experience in the field of public relations, I'm sure her session will be immensely helpful for our students. Over to you, Sachi, for your session. The instructions remain the same. Please post your questions in the chat box after both the sessions are over. We will take as many questions as possible. However, if some questions cannot be taken up further, we will send the questions to our speakers and request them to give answers to those questions. We cannot take all your questions because of time constraints, but I would love if you keep posting your questions, because we will request our speakers to give answers to all your queries. Please keep your audios on mute and videos also put off for better connectivity. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sachi. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
I think it's pretty nostalgic and feels great to talk about PR. So as you guys must have heard that I have been in PR for about 4 years, and I've worked on a variety of brands. And I started my career off with a very small boutique agency called Chrome. Then I moved to Edelman, which is one of the largest PR agencies globally. And now I've moved to a slightly mid-sized agency. So I think I'll just dive into what you need to know when you get into PR and basically how to prep for a life in PR. So I did my graduation in BMM and masters at KC. And one thing that I definitely learned along the way while I was prepping to, do my masters, do my graduation, that you need to keep on learning, always keep developing your skill set. So during my BMM, I went to Berkeley and did a course in sociology and rhetoric writing. And even throughout my graduation, during my summers, I did different kinds of courses. I did a public speaking course from Xavier's, and I did a lot of online digital courses that definitely helped. I did a lot of focused courses on writing, which again helped me. And then once I did my master's also, once I did my master's, while I was also doing my master's, I interned with another boutique agency called Definite Consulting, which again helped me develop developed a lot of different kinds of skill sets. I did a lot of designing there. We did event planning, event management. We did basic PR also. So I think that really helped me. I think a few things to definitely note when you're, diving into the world of PR. A few things to know, like a few skill sets that you need to have. One is content. Second is you need to be okay with, creating relationships, building relationships, maintaining relationships with journalists, influencers, media. You need to innovate. Well, that is another important thing once you dive into the world of PR, because as all of you know, things do get redundant at one point of time, because I've worked on clients for almost 3.5 years. And we have reached that stage where things, we've gotten redundant. We've just been like, okay, what do we do now? Like, we have to plan for the year ahead. What do we do? Like, we've done everything possible. And then you have to think on your feet. You need to have great relationships. And the most important thing is you need to stay up to date, not only with things that your clients are doing, but things that other clients are doing. So I think this is like just the pure basics that you need to know once you get into PR. A few examples also that will follow are that I think once when I started my career at Edelman, I was given a beauty brand and I was given a tourism board. And one important thing is that once you get into the agency life, they might try to put you in a niche or tell you that, okay, no, you're going to only work on a certain set of clients. You need to learn to raise your hand and be like, listen, while I know you've put me in this certain sector, I want to work on, say, like I was in tourism and beauty. And then I raised my hand and I said, no, I want to work on fashion. I want to work on lifestyle. I even worked on the OnePlus Music Festival before my time at Edelman came to an end. So you need to constantly, I think, raise your hand and be like, I want to do something different. Then another integral part of PR is new businesses. We are constantly pitching for new businesses. You need to work on new businesses. Just break from your traditional client profile that you have. Like I have worked on new business pitches for a cell phone brand. Beauty brand, definitely. Skincare, we worked on like tourism brands. I worked on an airline for a bit also. So one thing that I think is very essential when you work in PR is while you might have your niche and your area of expertise, like my area of expertise currently is tourism and beauty, but I know how to work on an FMCG brand, on airline, on an app, on a music festival, on a fashion show. You need to have a vast portfolio, but you obviously need to have your areas of expertise. And if you're with an agency also, you need to have that, people need to turn to you. So in our team, we had a very clear division. This is something that most agencies do have also. While everyone knows everything, you need to have your area of like your strength. So my strength traditionally has been influencers. So in my team also, it's been constantly that, okay, yeah, Sachi is good with influencer work. So if there was any influencer work on even brands that I don't work on, the team has turned to me and been like, yeah, so help us with help us with influencer work and all of that. And another key thing also to note, what I have also noticed in the past 4 years, when I got into PR, I had this set image in my mind that, okay, a PR is getting editorial stories, talking to media, like maybe sending out press kits to a few media people and influencers. But as time changed, I think PR and marketing, the lines have blurred. A lot of hardcore PR agencies now have become, integrated marketing firms. Like Edelman also now, we don't call ourselves a PR agency. We call ourselves integrated marketing agency. So we give strategies, like we used to give strategies right from your traditional PR work to your influencer work to on-ground events to everything. The thing with PR is that while you are limited, obviously you might think that you're limited to a certain set of tasks that you can only do on a brand. It's not that anymore. Now PR has, like, it's become influencer marketing, it's become digital marketing. The lines have blurred, and which is good actually. You need to think on your feet, you need to be up to date, you need to learn how to adapt. And just simple things like from the seasons of Fashion Week that I've done also, we have been working on ground and things have happened where we've not been prepared, and just you have to think on your feet to make things happen. And another thing with PR is you have to be ready to network. Like you have to constantly stay in touch with your journalists. Like till date, even though I'm not working on any fashion brands currently, and I haven't worked on any fashion brands for the past, I think, 6 months, I still am in touch with all my stylists, all the journalists, all of that. You have to know how to create a relationship and maintain it. Then you also have to, as harsh as it sounds, you have to learn to be a little thick-skinned also, because there have been days where I have called up journalists who I've known also, and journalists who I don't know also, and then snapped and they've, just hung up on my face. Don't take that personally. I've been doing that for 4 years, and I know initially the first 2-3 times it happened, I was very demotivated and sad, and I was like, okay, why is the person so rude? But you really can't take these things too personally. You have to have a little bit of a thick skin. And yeah, I think it's essentially that. But and obviously worked on your passion also on the side. I think the tough times of COVID now has, helped me work towards things that I want to do. Like I've started working on a small food page, and then I'm writing a small blog on the side. I think while your work is there, you need to work on your passion also on the side, and when you also pick your brands at an agency, which, I mean, if whatever brands are also assigned to you, make sure you have one brand that you're working on that you're passionate about, that you like. It might be anything. It could be auto, it could be beauty, it could be lifestyle, it could be anything else. Find one brand that you love, and then make sure the other brands that you work on are brands that will give you learning. Because the worst thing that you could do to yourself while you're in PR is stick to one certain sector. Like you don't want to be someone who's known for only being good at maybe lifestyle. Like, you need to be someone who's dependable, someone who can adapt to various kinds of brand profiles. And I think another thing also that I've learned is that at a junior level, when you're an executive, an intern, a senior executive, that's the best time for you to experiment. Because as you get older, as you go up in hierarchy, and once you become a manager, while your areas, you will have to be an expert at a certain genre. But as an executive, that responsibility isn't there. You can experiment, you can explore, you can definitely, raise your hand and be like, okay, I want to work on this sector, I want to work on that sector. And just raise your hand and just be someone in your agency that can be counted on, because honestly, PR is such a small industry that, you never know who you might bump into. Like I think I have bumped into people who quit Edelman about 3 years back or 4 years back when I had just joined. And we're still in touch, and we still bump into each other at events, or just in general we're calling people up. People move to the brand side of the business. So just learn to keep your keep your network also in place. That's one of the key parts of being in PR, that you have to have a liking for talking to people and, you know, networking, and just in general, you have to be a little bit of a people's person. And yeah, I think that's about it. And that's the basic essentials of what you need to know when you get into PR. One more thing that I have learned, because I've also learned now because of the, you know, whole coronavirus situation, that while our traditional papers, our print publications aren't coming anymore, we've realized that for most of our clients, we have to move digital. Again, as I said, marketing and PR, the lines have blurred immensely. So now we recently, and the thing is, you can take inspiration from what other brands are doing. So we looked at a campaign that Dettol did on TikTok, and we took inspiration for that for a hair oil brand that I work on right now. So we thought that, you know, everyone's at home now, and, you know, this is everyone's doing your self-care, your DIYs, your parlors are shut. Like, I think none of us have seen a parlor or a salon in about 4 months. So now everyone's, you know, doing the whole DIY, and we're at home. Everyone's like back to sar pe tel lagana and all of that. So we thought, why not do that? Since we are working for a hair oil brand, let's do that. We sent a pitch to a client and we told them, let's do a TikTok challenge called Chumpy Beats. It's for parachute. So we said, let's do a challenge called Chumpy Beats, and and TikTok is also picking up. So we thought, like, why not let's create this TikTok challenge. And we partnered with a few influencers, created a hashtag on TikTok, and the client was over the moon. Like, we got so many appreciative emails. The client told us that you guys did a great job. So, you know, you need to think on your feet. You need to be quick. Like, you need to understand, you need to do research of various platforms also. Like, I spend most of my day on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and while it is obviously for personal entertainment, I also end up saving links of campaigns that look fun. So any kind of campaign that looks really interesting, I save links. So it's like for future reference, when I go back, like now once we go back to office, when things also resume, I know that I have these links saved and I can just go access them and pick up, like, okay, I can pick up inspiration. Obviously, you can't copy a campaign point blank because then you'll have a bad PR story there. But take inspiration, because you really don't know where inspiration, you might find inspiration at like the stupidest point. Like, you might be waking up in the morning, half sleepy, going through Instagram, and you'll find something fun. And yeah, and find what works for your brand. That also is important. Like, when I was working on Dubai tourism, we realized that stories around the Burj Khalifa worked, because Dubai is perceived as a city that's expensive, that's, you know, when you think of Dubai, you think luxury, you think big, you think, yeah, every experience there is going to cost us a few thousands. But looking at the Burj Khalifa is free. And we realized that people were doing a lot of stories on the Burj Khalifa, where the Burj Khalifa was being lit up for Gandhi Jayanti, for Independence Day, Republic Day. We found out that worked for us, and we did stories every time the Burj Khalifa was lit up, for Friends, for New Year's, for Diwali, and Burj Khalifa does have something happening. We started doing press releases around that, and that helped us meet our KPIs for the month with the client. So it's very important to know what works for you and what doesn't work for your brand. And it is very important to have that market insight also. While PR also is a job that isn't like your typical 9 to 6 job. There have been days where I have been in office till about 2 a.m. working on plans and pitches, but no regrets. I think you just need to be prepared that there will be the good days, there will be the bad days. Like, there have been Sundays where I've gotten up at like 5 a.m. with some client seeing something going wrong in Sydney somewhere on some client that we work on in Bombay. And we've just had our bad days, we've had our good days, but I think you just need to be on your toes, you need to be aware. PR is unfortunately not a profession where you can say that I'm done, like, okay, like it's 6 p.m, I'm done, I'm leaving, like that's it, my day is shut. No, we've had clients, like we used to work on Swiggy, and Swiggy had a crisis at like 11 in the night, and the lead on Swiggy was at a bar drinking, and it was a Friday night, and she had to go back to office at about 11:30, 12 in the night to pacify the client and manage the crisis. So it's essentially, like know what you're getting into before you get into PR, definitely, because I have seen people who've gotten into PR and hated it, and then they've regretted it, and then they've tried to change fields, and it's been tough. But definitely PR is not something to be scared of. It is very doable, very manageable. It's fun. I have had so much fun while working on Fashion Week. It gives you a great opportunity to network, meet people. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful field, but you need to be mentally prepared that this is not going to be your traditional 9 to 6 kind of job situation. You will have late nights. You will have crisis situations, and I think that's it from me. Just work on your writing and know what your industry is like, and yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Sachin. Your session was full of those practical do's and don'ts, which our syllabus cannot teach. Syllabus of PR can never teach all these practical pointers that you have given, and how important understanding the industry and understanding the process of writing in PR is. Thank you. I'm sure students must have learned a lot from this session.
I hope.
Yeah, thank you. Our next speaker for the day is Mr. Rahul Tekwani. Rahul is a well-known communication professional in India. He started his career with public relations and specialized in corporate capital markets, investor relations, and crisis communications PR. His dedication and commitment to work has enabled him to secure the prestigious title of the most promising PR person of the year by Public Relations Council of India in 2018. In his PR role, Rahul has managed to mandate some of the biggest corporates in the country like Nippon Asset Management Limited, L&T Finance, Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited, Dubai-based healthcare chain Aster DM Limited, to name a few. Post its stint in PR business, Rahul moved on to working in advertising, and now he consults enormous brands as a planner. Rahul was also shortlisted as Social Samosa 30 under 30 in the year 2019 and recently got featured in one of the leading advertising magazines in Asia, Branding in Asia, as one of the prominent and young achievers in world advertising. We are very fortunate to have you, Rahul, as our speaker in this series. I hand over the floor to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Surya ma'am, for the lovely introduction. Firstly, I would say I hope everyone is safe during this tough time of Corona. And I would like to congratulate Hemlata Bagla ma'am, Manjula ma'am for the new university. The long-lasted dream of Casey has finally come true. I was listening to what Sachi had to say, and Sachi mainly covered most of the points that how your life in PR has to be and what you do in PR and everything. But before I go to before I talk about all these things, what happened in agency, I'm just going to revolve my full conversation around one word, and that word is brand, right? So in media, the only thing that matters is something called brand. Where if you're working in an advertising firm, if you're working in a PR firm, if you're working in a digital firm, it's all about that one thing called brand. When you're working for a client, you're handling his brand. Okay. When you're working for your agency, you're working in a particular brand that will represent you as a person. When you're handling mandates for clients and everything, you are making personal brand of yourself. Okay. And then the study and the full process that leads you into the industry is, the college you graduate from, the institution you work from, and whatever thing is, it constitutes to what the major impact will be on you as a brand, the brand you function, and the brand you serve, right? So even though the the full talk is around opportunity and challenges in PR and the media industry, I think there are challenges. I'm not denying from the fact, like, we guys in the industry are facing some of the tough days that we have seen in past decade or so. But I think the challenges are not for you actually. When I see you guys will be going into the industry for FY kids and the FI kids, you guys will be going into the industry in another 4 years. The current lot of PMM kids will be going into the industry in another 3 years, and only the major, the post-graduation program, the postgraduate students might go up in the industry next year. So by the time you guys will land up in the industry, which is in another 24 to 36 months, I personally feel the industry will recover. PR industry, media industry is such a dynamic industry that the industry can't suffer for very long. Once the COVID situation is over, I personally expect the recovery to start in another 6 months. Everything will be back to normal and the business will be rolling again. So that gives you a big opportunity for all your kids. How when you will be going into the industry, what valuation, what normal business you will be taking care of. For all those people who will be going into the industry next year, one thing that we are saying that Corona is a negative impact. That the pandemic has led to many deaths and everything not going there. But Corona has first time given us, everyone, be the students, be the teachers, be the institution, be the professional, this opportunity where we can self-evolve, okay, where we can self-learn. Personally, I've been in this industry for half a decade now. I don't remember that, I got 4 hours free from my daily schedule. There were times when there are many times, like almost out of 52 weekends, around 46, 45 weekends, when I'm working on a weekend also. So this is the first time in life we guys have seen a situation like this. And this situation has given us an opportunity to see something, to learn something, like the last bunch of speakers said, learn, unlearn, relearn. These are the opportunities that we have got from this Corona time. The fortunate part, which uh, which is very natural to this generation of students, which was not natural to us. Like I came on Instagram last year, last year, and I'm still not used to how most of your social media tools function or all these things. But the generation said, you guys are very well equipped with the digital means of technology. Digital means of technology is something that is going to start from now onwards. Yes, like Sachi mentioned, the newspapers are gone. Many of the newspapers have shut edition. If you see in last 2.5 months, the leading newspaper, Times of India and ET, they have cut down 10 pages. So the traditional PR has taken a role of digital PR. How normal PR things that a PR communication a person used to do. Now they have to unlearn the traditional way, but not forget the traditional way, but relearn the new age PR. And you guys being, when I see you guys on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, there's an opportunity for brand to do so many things. Even though TikTok went through this whole chaos in last month or so, but what kind of opportunity the brand has given for, the platform has given for the brands. The brands, if you would have seen the latest Pepsi campaign where they got Solo Sood involved and everything, brands are actually taking use of the new age technology. And like you do anything, you come into PR, you go into advertising, digital medium. The only thing that will help you, grow is how soon you can adapt, how soon you can learn. There are few agencies. We start we started our lockdown from what, third week of March. The agency took another 3 to 4 weeks to get the full business online. The agencies they didn't have a clue that what should they do, how to take technology online, how to manage their people, everything. The agencies which are pre-ready, the agency which had this thing, where they can actually take decisions on time. They had the far side where they saw that this impact will be long lasting. It won't be a 1 or 2 months of work from home scenario. It will go up to 8, 9 months. Those agencies are surviving. Those agencies are getting business. People are saying that your agencies are not getting business. Agencies which are fully equipped, agencies, businesses which are fully equipped with every possible thing that they need to have, they are getting business. The clients are coming to them and everything. And why PR is important. When I was a kid, when I was in my KCPMM days early in 2015, 2016, the only thing we kids used to thrive was for achievement, a sense of achievement. When we got a CI movie done, if I got Arun Jaitley in my movie, that was a sense of achievement for our group. You guys are getting such good people and everything. The only thing that PR world gets you, if you want that attention, if you want that achievement, is PR world will
Rahul,
make you meet for, yeah, sorry.
Rahul, sorry to interrupt you. There is a disturbance in your audio. I think it was
Is it fine now?
hands free or something. No, there is no lag, but
Is it
there is
fine now?
disturbance.
Is it fine? Can you hear me well?
Better. Yes.
Yeah. So so what I was trying to say is, the only fascinating part about PR business is you start your journey at 21 when you are out of college, or if you're doing postgraduate, you're out of college in 22, 23, and within a year or two, you are meeting industry stalwart. And I'm not saying PR stalwart. I was 21, I was out of college, and after a month of time, I was meeting one of the MDs or CXOs of one of the top leading corporates in India. So that is something that PR world gets you to. If you're doing any other field, if you're in any other field, if you meet a particular person you dream of meeting, it will take you 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, and by that time your excitement is over. But the unique part about PR business is that you can actually meet people you looked up to. Okay. And I'm telling you, the crazy part about PR is the stories that you read online, the stories that you read on newspaper are actually very different from this real world story of that person. A Mukesh Ambani pictured onto a Economic Times or a website will be very different to a Mukesh Ambani in real life. That is something that PR business gets onto you and this thing. And because okay, I think I have 3 to 4 minutes, but I will come down to that part about branding. Sachi has already explained you the PR life, how agency life will function. We went to agency life with a thought that we'll start our day at 9:30, we'll end by 6:30, we'll go out party and this thing. Okay, we do 9 to 6, but 9 to 6 only happens on a Saturday or a Sunday. Which are your non-working days. On a working days, you're working till what, 10 in the night, 2 in the night, 3 in the night. Sometimes, coming to advertising business, you're sometimes taking showers in your office only and not going home, taking showers in your office and again resuming work. So it is, when I'm talking about a brand, in today's time, anything, any person, be person as powerful as Mukesh Ambani, the only thing he's worried about is not the net debt what Reliance has on his books, is the kind of image that Reliance operates in front of public, in front of media. How Reliance story is coming out in Economic Times newspaper and a Times of India newspaper. The best example how a PR can make you and break you is, Vijay Mallya, 7 years back, king of good time, sitting in an IPL match with all his brand ambassador in Deepika Padukone and Katrina Kaifs and everyone, and media killed him. A bad PR, his PR team, his team were not able to control the crisis situation. So Vijay Mallya and Kingfisher are one of the best example how the brand well made was killed in a duration of nothing. And Mukesh Ambani,
Rahul,
compared
we can't hear you, Rahul.
Is it better?
We can't
Or
hear
it is still, hello? Is it better?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, sorry. So, I was saying that, how good media relation or how good PR team can change you. A Mukesh Ambani compared to a Anil Ambani. Good PR, decent work zone, still surviving. Bad PR, no clue on how his business functions, no clue how he wants to project himself in front of media. The guy has lost almost everything. And all this doesn't come, when you're talking about big brands today. What Surya ma'am said, the brands that I have serviced, I could service that thing because I was working for a good brand called Concept. The company got many more big clients which I could cater to, so that I could build in my experience. Now the talk is, how did I get into Concept? When I go into Concept, I did my full 3 years course from one of the biggest brand that time in Mumbai is KC College, So it starts from very beginning. The brand that you choose as your institution will lead to the brand that you work for and will lead to the brand that you service in a long run. So it starts from your 18th year when you are coming into college, and where you are at your 30s and your mid 30s will be actually a big part of the 18 years, which institution you got selected into and everything. And I think what Manjula ma'am and team has done is a remarkable thing by doing this thing, because we have already always seen, people have seen in magazines that KC is one of the premium institution of media in the city. But I haven't seen any institution distribution its expertise. It's one of I had one of the recent campaigns called Expertise is for Everyone. And I think by using this platform, what KC College is doing is spreading their expertise and the kind of work that they are doing and what they have done to every student, irrespective of whichever college they are from and irrespective of whichever field they are from. Okay. So to sum up the full thing, I would, in 30 seconds, I will say, it starts at very beginning of your 18th year when you step into the college. That is a very important journey. And from there till from wherever you are at 30 is the total phenomena of the brand, how you make a personal brand of yourself, how you represent your college, how you work on your clients, and PR business will change. And the good part is that you guys are there. You guys know digital PR. You guys will have sessions on digital PR. So you guys are well equipped with what it actually takes to be in the business. The only thing that you guys require is the additional support, which maybe Manjula ma'am gives. At our time when I was in college 5 years back, we had only few additional courses which we could use. Now those courses have multiplied by 10 times, and now you guys have got photography, everything. So you are doing a weekend course, you're doing a weekday course, you're doing post college course, you're doing post campus course, and you're doing everything that takes you in. With that thing, you can go onto Google, you can go Google digital course, you can do Microsoft digital course. So at the end of the day, whatever it takes is in you. When you decide that you want to pursue a particular dream, it will be on you how you make a particular brand of yourself and how you present to you. Because only thing that will help you in PR is how you can sell yourself. You have to sell client's idea, but before you sell client's idea, you need to sell yourself. If you're a good salesman, if you can sell yourself very well, I think you guys will do very well in PR. I think that's about it from my side. Sorry if I've taken a minute or two more.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you very much. From building yourself as a brand to managing company's brand, the journey you have explained very nicely. I would like to invite Manjula ma'am to share her observations. Manjula ma'am, over to you.
I think Sachi and Rahul have done a fantastic job. Whether you are doing films, whether you're doing journalism, whether you're doing advertising, whether you're doing PR, or you may get into other forms of media, which you will open up as you attend the other sessions. The most important thing in communication industry is, as I always taught you all, one is language proficiency with a language. I do not say English only, but if you are in a PR firm which is catering to foreign clients, then your language English should be very good. You have to write very well, you have to speak very well. And the classic example of this is Rahul and Sachi, who have been very enterprising as students, and they carried on that to become the stars in their own fields in such a short span of time. I know PR is a very, very challenging, field, but at the same time, as whether they say it or not, I know they need to work for 18 hours. Are you guys waiting to get into that? You can't sit for a 2-hour webinar here. I see such disrespect to the speakers. What will you do in your lives if you can't, in the comfort of your own house, listen to people who have worked so hard? There is a life after lockdown that we want to prepare you with. Do not say, I am not going to do that. Don't do that, but you should know. Have I not given you example of Nagin as a serial always? You can only ridicule that serial if you have seen the serial. To know whether it is good or bad, you should know the mediums. You should know the areas. You should know what kind of opportunities you have after your TY or after your 12th. I think the fields are very niche right now for a 12th standard student. But understand, maybe you have understood what the speakers have said today in connection with advertising, in connection with PR, and take this and think about it. Okay, how can I work on this? I have a TY FT NMP student last year who has joined a PR firm and is doing well. So you never know how you will choose your area. You should, what did Nadir say? Multi-skilling. Learn to do things which can lead to any kind of challenge, and you're prepared for that. And that's what the media courses in our department are trying to do. Thank you, Surya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to open the floor for question and answer sessions. We have a few questions. I would like to start with Parth, who is a junior college student.
Great.
I will unmute you, Parth. And then you can ask.
Yes. Good evening to all, and good evening, ma'am. And first of all, I'd like to thank all of you, both the speakers, for giving us the precious time and giving us the opportunity to talk with such experienced professionals. So my question is, with the paradigm change being experienced in the M&E industry, what are your thoughts or about PR in a post-COVID-19 world?
But what I think is, yeah, as I started off, by the time you guys reach that PR world, okay, PR has changed, and whatever the new trends are, they will remain same. I like to quote this thing, when 9/11 happened, before 9/11 in US, there was no metal detection, nothing. But post that thing, everything, the security changed and people got used to that thing. I'm not saying work from home is here to stay, okay, but work from home will start on, okay. Now in next 1 year or 2 years, which I feel is a big thing change that can come in PR is, many agencies and many big agencies are going through consolidation. If you are a good PR person, many PR person, I see an emergence of many boutique agencies in PR. So all the small agencies can come up, 2-3 people put together, opening an agency, serving 3 to 4 clients. Because gone are the days. I don't see those days coming back when a particular brand was willing to pay you 11 lakhs per month, 12 lakhs per month for PR. Okay, the marketing budgets have cut down. The marketing budget will low down till the time your manufacturing and everything is back. So till the time your marketing budgets are low, you need to go to that person you can trust and you can build on. Okay, and not many brands are willing to pay that kind of money to those agencies. So I see an emergence of many boutique agencies, and with PM Modi's new agenda for vocal for local, I see many new things coming up. Your Indian agencies, taking the business higher, the brands. I will see the emergence of how Indian brands are doing the innovative stuff. The kind of innovation you always related to the WPPs of the world. Your Indian brands, if they have to live up to the local for vocal standard by PM Modi, they have to match the standards of the international brand. So I see Indian brands in PR industry to going up majorly, going up the AI route, going up the digital route, because they were stuck on traditional PR. And the brand which can do this thing very quickly will be the brand that will be surviving in next 5 years. Otherwise, you can see the brand going off the hook. And it's
Just adding a little, yeah, just adding a little bit to what Rahul was saying.
Unfortunately, for any brand budget, what I also have noticed, and from my knowledge from the like people who are in brands, unfortunately, the situation is such that the first thing when there are budget cuts in a company, the first thing to go is the PR budget, the marketing budget, the ad budget. You know, basically PR is the first thing to go, then ad, then marketing. Now, for any agency to survive or anyone to have a future in PR, it is essential for you to, as I said, not be only an expert in your field of just PR. You need to know how marketing works, how your digital influencers work. You need to basically now PR will have become any PR agency will become like a 360 servicing agency. It won't be traditional PR agencies anymore. And for a fact, I noticed that there is one very top international makeup brand, and they work with a very small boutique agency which barely charges any money on retainer. And they work with them because it's cheap labor, the brand is good, and it's just a win-win situation all over. So it's like and as you said, the future of PR, unfortunately, current situation wise, I can tell you that a lot of the brands that I work on, hospitality based and all of that, they have told us we're not paying you guys for the next few months and all of that. But fortunately, you guys are studying now. So by the time you guys graduate and get out and get into PR, I think the scenario will be much better. But yes, the PR, as Rahul said, the PR landscape does keep on changing. 4 years back, when I started my career in PR, it was completely different. Today it is completely different, but the future definitely is digital. You have to know how to execute and create a digital media plan. I think that's one of the most important skills that you can have.
Thank you so much. Inviting Maneka to ask her question after this. Maneka.
Hi, so I wanted to ask, as a PR professional myself, I have been, ideating much, but is there any specific way that my idea can actually reach out to the media through the media channels itself and also via the clients? Are there any tips or tricks that you would like to share?
So for me, at least, what I have also learned is that you have to, the one hack that I can definitely give you is in every media portal or every media channel, like suppose an INS, a PTI, a Bombay Times, a Hindustan, become friends with one of the journalists. Like you, as you know, like just become friends with one of the journalists, remember their birthdays, festivals, wish them, whatever, do all of that, get the works out of the way, and just go through what they're publishing. So if just go through what the news portal is publishing, go through what the channel is publishing, and just do your research, see what kind of stories they're doing. Because I still remember when I started my career off, INS used to print most of our stories just like that. INS never had an issue with brand mentions, never had an issue with, just doing feature stories. And I had a friend in INS also. I have two now. Fortunately, I have 2-3 people I'm friends with in the newswire. But I had one lady I was very close to. She's also moved on, unfortunately. But we understood. Like I became friends with her, and then she would tell me that she would point blank tell me कि हाँ साची यार ये story नहीं चलने वाला है. तू ऐसा like तू twist करके दे दे, ऐसा angle दे दे, मैं तेरे brand का mention डाल दूंगी. So just become friends with 1-2 journalists in each publication. Just become, even if it's someone at no, I'm not saying become friends with the editor-in-chief, or don't become friends with an Anita Shroff at Vogue, but become friends with a normal journalist or someone who's a writer, an editor, someone. And when you send them an article, just ask them on the fly, listen, will this work or what? Tell me. If it won't work, tell me, I change it. You need to adapt. That's one of the things that I have learned the hard way also. And you need to know what works, what doesn't work. Read up what the publication is doing. Like right now, I have been trying to pitch a few stories and they've not been working. So I've started reading up the websites of each of the publications that I've been pitching to. That what kind of stories are they doing currently, and what kind of angles I can explore. Like it's cooking oil brand, and now I see them doing stories on a lot of CM. What I do is I take that idea, make a plan for my client, tell my client that listen, this is what they're doing.
let's us also do something like this, and we'll get stories, we'll get featured. So it's all about reading, updating yourself, and if you see something happening and you think that it'll work for your client, take it to the client. Don't ever be scared of giving ideas to your client. Always take your ideas to your client, to your manager, tell them this is what we've seen, this is what's trending. I want to pitch this idea, I believe in it, can I pitch it? Just take it to your team, and that will be appreciated. Think on the go, see what's happening. It's just all about staying updated and reading, and just understanding how you can manipulate your client plan and manipulate what you're trying to sell to the media to fit what they're publishing.
Okay, if I can take 30 seconds on this question, I actually differ from what Sachi says. I think gone are the days where you are friends with any particular editor and journalist, he will do your head stories. Gone are the days you will take editors or journalists on dinners and they will do your story. If your story is relevant nowadays, even though if your wife is a journalist, she will only do your story if your story is relevant enough. Because I personally come from that angle, and the only thing which I think is will work nowadays is because you have been in PR, you need to take the first mover advantage. If anything topical is coming, you need to take the first mover advantage and pitch it. And gone are the days where you just can't send out press releases, because press releases in today's world doesn't work. You need to know that the kind of work that you're talking about, the kind of story that you're talking about, you're pitching to the right kind of media. It shouldn't be like you're featuring a healthcare story to a political media. Just because someone gave you a number, because that editor, he's an editor in chief, you need to know what the particular guy is covering. If you are pitching the right kind of story to the right portal and the right kind of media, I think the story 9 out of 10 times the story will get covered.
Thank you so much, Rahul, for adding an important point to that. Next question is from Savni. Savni?
Hello everyone. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes. Savni, just introduce yourself and then ask you.
Okay. Hi everybody. I am Savni Rangare. I am a student of TY, FT and MP now. And my question is to both the speakers over here. We have a lot of messages going around our groups which talk about micro-influencing and how that is one strategy to PR come market. So would interning at an agency or a small place like that help, I don't know, to pick up skills or CV? I mean, what is your take on micro-influencing in general?
So I personally, I started my journey off with a small, very boutique agency that we were like barely 5 people in the PR team, honestly. But I have also interned at a boutique agency, and one of the things that I've learned is that the boutique agency gave me the opportunity to work and explore and understand what my area of expertise is. And you have that freedom when you're at a boutique agency. When I moved to a larger setup, which was at Edelman, there are obviously a lot of designations. There's hierarchy over there, which is the way bigger, larger agencies do work. But then again, there I felt like if I hadn't worked at a smaller agency, I wouldn't have gotten that exposure to basically multitask. Like I have done designing work briefly, I've done like literally event management. So I've dipped my fingers into a lot of different, different areas. And I think that helped me immensely, because when I joined Edelman, my first season of Fashion Week, I knew what to expect. If I was just a month old in the agency and I was on ground at Fashion Week, and I knew what to expect because I had that experience working in events. So that definitely helped me. And honestly, like, take an experience from a smaller agency for sure, even if it's just an internship. But the learning that a bigger agency will give you on a larger scale, that like you have to experience both. That's why I started with a smaller agency, moved to a really big agency, and now I'm at a mid-level agency. So I've had best of both worlds, and I've settled in the middle somewhere, which is, I'm very happy. So it's like, it worked out. So yeah, definitely that's what I believe. I think Rahul, if you want to add to this.
Yeah. Sami, I'll tell you what worked for me, to be very frank. When you're doing any particular course from KC College, like KC BMM, I did BMM. So it gives you 3 months of wonderful time in your 3 years of internship. So I still remember after my first year, I was doing internship for IPL. Okay, I was handling the full digital campaign for IPL. In my second year, I was handling digital campaign for lifestyle luxury brands, which I wouldn't like to go back to ever. Okay, and then I went back to Dentsu where I learned advertising. So I think those 3 months are very important time of your life before you step into any kind of industrial world. Because your internship are just part of your learning, but when you go into the job setup, it comes on your CV. It actually take a hit on your CV. So whatever you need to decide, if you want to work on any micro influencing agency or anything of that sort, utilize those 3 months, okay, and see how those 3 months in three different agencies, be it PR, advertising, digital, work for you, what suits you the best as a person, and where your creativity comes out. For me, I knew after doing my internship that I'm never going back to digital, because I'm not one of those guys who can sit in front of laptop and take care of all the digital activities. So I decided very early in 2015 only that that is not something where I'm going back to. So I think that kind of experience will definitely help you.
Thank you so much, Rahul and Sachi. We will now take one last question for this session, asking Gunjan to ask his question. Gunjan? Yes, Gunjan, go ahead.
Hi, I am Gunjan Pulwani. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. So
Kunjan, we can't hear you, sorry.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
To be a
Yeah,
little
it's
louder.
better. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah. So I am Gunjan Punwani. I am a TY student from KC College, BMM. And my question is not particularly addressed to anyone, to any of you. You can anyone can answer the question. So my question is: client servicing plays an important role in PR. How can we attract clients to be a part of an agency?
So
So
Sachi, you want to start?
yeah, I think I'll start, or if
Yeah,
you
please
want
start.
to,
Yeah.
anything fine,
No,
whatever.
please start. Please start. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the important things now, at least with COVID being in the picture, one thing that I've learned is a lot of my hospitality clients have gone on hold. Here, what helped me is that I went out and I did some research. I went on social media. I saw what brands were actually. I did a very simple thing of seeing what brands are still functioning. So there's a cheese brand that's functioning, Indian made cheese brands, food brands, and all of that are still functioning. So actually, I'm going after them and pitching to them for business. Like I'm reaching out to those guys. And client servicing, when it comes down to client servicing is a very important part of PR, because you have to remember that your client is the one who's signing your check at the end of the month. And, like you have to keep your client happy. Obviously, within reason, I have dealt with horrible clients who I've actually had fights with, and I walked out of phone calls and all of that. I have had like really bad clients. I've had really good clients. The important part of client servicing is that you need to make sure that you get your point across. And if suppose like one of my clients wanted to do some campaign on some foundation range that they had launched, which had only 6 shades, which were only for the fair skin tone. And we wanted to tell them that this will backfire. We shouldn't do this. We just did a simple thing. We told the client twice, thrice. They didn't listen. We sent across an entire email saying that these are the brands that have gotten flack from consumers because they have a limited foundation range. If we go ahead with this, this is it. So the important part of client servicing is obviously keep your client happy. But then again, if you disagree with them on certain things that you're saying, when you put your case across, make sure you have hard hitting facts. You have something to back each and everything that you're saying, because tomorrow I have everything on email, so you know that you have done your job as a client servicing person and told the client that this is going to backfire, and if you still decide to go ahead with it, your neck is not on the line. So that's important. And just with times of COVID, I think what I'm also personally doing is just go out, do your research, see what brands are selling. We are reaching out to every brand under the sun because we have lost about 70% of our business. So like times are tough, but again, you need to adapt, you need to learn, you need to think on your feet, and just no, just do your research. I think the core of PR, I think, lies in also doing your research. You need to be open to the fact that you will spend a lot of time doing research for your brands, for brands that you want to pitch, and all of that. So just mentally be prepared to have a lot of research as a part of your work schedule. I think, Rahul, if you want to add anything to this further.
Yeah. Gunjan, so I believe like in pre-COVID time, what it used to be like, if you're with a big agency, they will win a business because of their name. So I think that thing will go away now. The name won't matter because eventually client will be paying you a certain amount of money, and if the client has a budget of say 50 lakh per annum, the marketing PR budget of 50 lakh per annum, there'll be 40 agencies like Kunjan said that they're pitching for everything under the sun. So there will be 40 agencies which will be pitching for all those 50 lakhs. So the only difference that a client servicing will make, or a strategy that the person who's making the strategy for the pitch deck will make, is how well you can strategize the business, how well you know the client business, and what kind of strategies you're pitching for that business. Okay, I you know what I've seen in the PR industry and PR agencies is, suppose you're working for real estate. Okay, pitching for real estate, so you will just copy the same pitch for all the brands. Okay, but the only thing that agencies need to know is that the DNA of every brand is different. Every brand is looking for a different insight. Every brand is looking for a different brand position. If they were not different, then Lodha will be as similar to Oberoi. Oberoi will be as similar to Hiranandani. You know why today Hiranandani group differs to a Oberoi group or a Lodha group? Because they picture themselves in a different way. So if you can crack that DNA, what the brand is actually looking for in your pitch deck and strategy, I think 9 out of 10 times you will win business of that particular client, if you're part of small boutique agency or if you're part of the biggest network agency, because one of the days the name will work. I feel.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Rahul and Sachi, for patiently answering to all the questions that our students have to ask. I would now like to invite Professor Sudha Ravishankar, Sudha ma'am, to share her concluding observations, remarks on day one of our Mediascape 2020.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Rahul. Hi, Sachi. Special.
Hello.
What I want to bring to the table today is, at the end of the day, whether it was Nadir and Namrata, or whether it was Sachi and Rahul, all we can understand is the only thing that is constant is change. Change before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, much after COVID. The only thing that is constant is change. And we need to know how to embrace that change. Whether we are students entering into the field, whether people in the field, whether we are academicians and mentors, the only thing we need to understand is how to cope with the change. The key takeaways from both the sessions were that we need to analyze, strategize, understand the client, understand the customer, understand the brand's nuances, and you as an individual, how you fit into this whole scheme of things. I think that is a big takeaway that I have understood. And ever since that we have been at home and because of the lockdown, the one thing I also realized is how we as academicians have also changed. We are ready to take Zoom lectures. We are equipping ourselves with all kinds of, other necessities or other things, other paraphernalia as to how to take the students on, how to come around as natural as possible as a teacher. All these are coming back to us in a very, very different way. And for a person who's always been there, who's been taught with the blackboard, moved on to other aids to teaching, and currently in the digital space, I think it has been a long way down this. And I take this opportunity to present the vote of thanks on the occasion of the alumni web lecture series organized by the Department of Mass Media, KC College. And since I'm concluding the second session, I will first thank Rahul and Sachi to come up with such wonderful insights on the PR industry. And we know how the PR industry has changed from the time I've been a student to where I am right now. And I would also like to thank Namrata and Nadir for presenting their insights on advertising and how it has actually changed the entire space economically, emotionally, socially, and the consumer insights, which were really, really good. I take this opportunity to thank all the people who have made it convenient to attend the session, though it has been from home. And I would like to thank all, Principal Ma'am, Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, and everyone in the department who have put up this very, very interesting web series, personally, because it's a big challenge to wing the whole thing purely on a digital mode. Thank you so much for being there. Hope to see all the people who are there here tomorrow again for the next thing. So please be there at around 2:30 and we'll let you in and you can have the session tomorrow as well. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, Sudha ma'am.
Thank you.
Just a small request to all the participants before we part for the first day. I would want everybody to please fill up the feedback form for both the sessions in first day, and would like to request everybody to join tomorrow's session at least 10 minutes prior, so that we can start at sharp 3 o'clock. Tomorrow we are having sessions, again four speakers, 2 different sessions on media, public policy, journalism, photojournalism, etc. are the topics. And we hope to see you tomorrow. I hope today was an enriching experience for you all. Tomorrow's links will be shared on the Telegram group, so please look at that. Thank you so much. Please fill the feedback.
Before we close the meeting, we cannot not thank enough Nikita Hivalkar, who is behind the entire 3 days program. We have all got these cosmetic looks on our face and we are just trying to be very enriched professors. But the youngest in the department, Nikita, has worked tirelessly. Please put in good number of sessions and be regular, try and be disciplined. Communication industry is all about discipline. If there is a 6 o'clock shoot, you better be there by 5:55. If there is a client meeting at 9 o'clock, you better be there by 8:45. You will learn as graduates and as 12th standard students. There is a kid who just personally messaged me saying that, ma'am, it's nice to hear you scream again at the audience. That is how we have been brought up. We are very flustered without being in touch with people. It's very difficult to virtually control everything. My hands are itching right now. We have not done this, we have not done that. But yes, as Sudha ma'am said, we are learning. It's a small department of 5 professors. We have a lot of things to share with you going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you all again tomorrow. I would like, with your permission, ma'am, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much.